Hey everyone, this is the behind the scenes video for Heirs of Justice episode 5. However, if you haven't seen episode 6 yet, stop watching right now as this contains massive spoilers for episode 6. If you've already seen that episode though, enjoy the video. So episode 5, the Batcave. This night was... Oh, Jeffrey. I love the kid. He's amazing. This is one of those times where I was just like, really?
For this scene, I had my first bat suit.
Yeah, why don't you explain the bat suit, huh?
I'm about to. I'm gonna.
Did you have any help here?
Oh, I had plenty of help. I had a lot of help from Holly, and I had a lot of help from Miss Kristen, and it was cutting out the pieces, painting the pieces, and gluing the pieces, and it's a long process. This was my first attempt at foam armor.
In January 2020, Manon, Kristen, and I went to the fashion district in LA to get the fabrics needed to create the superhero suits. Jeffrey saw outlines of what he wanted through someone else who did foam armor.
I used designs from, I think it's Xing Prod. His name is Sean, and this is what he does. He makes foam armor and foam armor templates. And I used like Batman chest and Deathstroke arms and a Flash head and just various different superheroes that he had, so I could make it look different than other things he had.
The idea was that the costumes would be created in the early part of 2020 to be ready for summer's filming. So while the costume pieces were created for everyone else between January and June, Jeffrey didn't get started on his suit until much later in the process.
And I dragged a lot of people with me to help me, and I really appreciate their help.
Yeah.
Was it that
better.
bad, Holly?
I didn't help out as much the day of, but I definitely was the part of the beginning process.
Do you remember what we were watching while we
yes,
were doing it?
we were
What
watching
watching?
Cutthroat Kitchen.
Cutthroat
Probably
Kitchen,
like
right.
10 episodes. At one point I just stopped working and started playing a video game because I was just like completely
And
fried.
There I am. I'm just like cutting things out while she's watching her show or playing her games. I set up a table in my living room and had movies playing and stayed up all night for like 2 nights. I just stayed up for like 48 hours or something, just working on it, and gluing stuff to things and painting everything. And Michael actually helped me a lot with that too. Michael was really helpful painting things while I was cutting and gluing other things. At one point, I tried making a helmet, and it took me legitimately 6 times to make a helmet. I made 6 different sizes of helmet.
He sent me photos and one looked like...
One was this big,
yeah.
one was like really tight on my thing.
It looked like the different sizes of Ant-Man's helmets
Yeah.
as he grew and
Yeah.
shrunk.
Call time for filming that night was 7 o'clock. Everyone, minus Jeffrey, was there at 6:55. And I was like, okay guys, here's some pizza. We're getting ready to film. Everything should be good. We just gotta wait for Jeffrey to get here.
20 minutes, I want to say, before we were supposed to start shooting. Jeffrey's not here, and I get this text, hey, do you have a hot glue gun? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I'm going to need a little bit of help. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I get the glue gun out, I get all the stuff.
He gets there at 9:55. And I was like, oh man, what the heck's going on? And he backs his car up to where we're going to be filming this stuff, and he pulls out all of these black foam pieces, and I'm like, please tell me this is not the bat suit. He goes, yeah, it's the bat suit, I still gotta put it together. Oh god.
Nothing is put together. Nothing. I'm like, this is going to take more than 10 minutes.
When we got to the set, Michael was helping make it look more like a bat cave.
I brought props and stuff to decorate. If you look in the bushes, you'll see like random weapons and stuff. Because I think it's funny if we have bushes. We have some other cameos on the side by the grill. It's like the Joker card, and we had like the Riddler stuff. So just little Easter eggs for anyone that cares.
Kristen was helping me hot glue things to my body and my shirt, and problem solving on how to make everything get on me and safely come off so that I could still use the costume. And yeah, because I hadn't had time to put it on yet. I was still making it at that point.
And it had been spray painted, and so it wasn't, none of the glues were sticking. And so I've got my hot glue gun, and I've got rubber cement, and we had double stick tape, and we were just trying anything to make these things stick. And at one point, we were now way behind the shooting schedule, so I'm literally hot gluing pieces and then sticking them right on his jeans and stuff. So we were hot gluing the suit to his underclothing, which was amazing.
Everyone's giving me crap about it, and so I'm really thankful for everyone in the cast and production staff for dealing with me in this suit. Yeah, there's actually 2 or 3 suits that are shown on camera. In this episode was the first time I wore the suit, so it had knee pads and it had giant arms and giant biceps. And then after that, I went back to the drawing board and decided to shrink everything so that it actually fit. And the knee pads never made it back onto the costume. So look out for that.
Easter egg.
And things had to be repainted, things had to be re-glued, and things were just falling apart while we were filming. Like
Literally.
the shins were splitting and everything was having a grand old time. So by the time we went back up to Palomar, I was working on another suit and then fixing pieces along the way.
It's really uncomfortable for him, but I mean, all superhero costumes are uncomfortable, let's be honest. But yeah, and I know it took him a really long time. That costume has just had so many pieces for Jeffrey, he wasn't able to finish it until like 11 p.m. that day.
4 hours later, after call time, we start shooting.
And we still had a lot to film that day. We had a lot we had to get done, so we ended up going until 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
3 in the morning.
It was late, but I had fun. It was a fun night.
My brain spaced out as soon as I got tired, so I don't really remember anything interesting.
We got it all done, but I mean, man, I was exhausted because, you know, just one thing after another.
Follow me.
Then we go into Megan's scene where she's, you know, being super sleuthy. That was done on day 1 of shooting at Lake Forest. That was done on Friday night.
To this day is probably like one of my favorite things that we filmed because that was just really fun. I got to pretend to be a spy.
We actually showed up and we scouted the location. I was like, okay, I can do this here, I can do this there. I was kind of looking at the space because I hadn't seen it before. So we go back out to the car to grab all of our stuff. We go back over to the building and we got locked out. Thankfully, there were some people that were working there that night, so they let us in. That already put me on edge, so we were trying to film. I was like, okay, let's go. Just, you know, that got my energy up. That's what I remember most about that scene. I mean, it looked great.
I just felt like a total badass. Can I say that? Okay. I felt like a total badass. I like picked a lock and everything like that. I knocked out a security guard. I mean,
it was I look at my footage and I'm like, someone pointed it out on the trailer or in the screenshot that my thumb on my left hand was riding too high in my grip, and I was like, someone's gonna comment on when I saw it, someone's gonna comment on it. Sure enough, somebody did. But you know, whatever, I'm a bad guy. Bad guys don't know how to use guns. You watch any movie.
to me, it's the coolest scene that Bella has.
Okay, who's first?
We're shooting basically under a metal awning because originally, you know, we were going to put the Batcave in a warehouse, but we lost access to that. So we were like, let's just shoot it under this metal awning near where I live. You got to make do with what you got.
It was difficult because that whole scene is supposed to be both very exciting, but also very just like, you know, we don't know Batman is Terry yet.
There's still a lot of mystery that shrouds Terry as a character and stuff, and what's happened with him in Wayne Enterprises and what's happened with him teaching at the school. But just to see the Batcave is still there in whatever form, I think really adds to the show.
It's just supposed to be just like, you know, a very energetic scene. And it was hard to be energetic at 3 in the morning. And, you know, we were all getting crabby at that point. But we just were just like, at that point, we were just like, we have to finish this today. Like, we have come too far not to.
The area that we had for the Batcave was actually outside. And there was this stupid owl.
Okay, it's 2:11 in the morning. There is an owl hooting, and nobody can handle the hooting owl. They're all going, ha ha, ha.
It's not going to, so you need to pull yourself together, soldier.
All that is holy, pull it together.
This owl was hooting, and the mics were picking it up. And everybody was just laughing hysterically, except for Andrew, who was just like, I'm exhausted! Can we please get this filmed? Somebody shoot the owl.
That freaking owl, man. I wanted to shoot the owl because I'm like, dude, it's 2:15 in the morning. We're laughing hysterically because some owl is hooting and screwing up the shots. And I go, guys, we have neighbors, even though it's a rural area, we have neighbors that are sleeping. Let's just get this done so we can get out of here and go home. But yeah, that scene was nuts to film.
But in some ways, I thought it added to the aesthetic of the scene just because we were supposed to be tired and just kind of just going to the Batcave just as a last resort and just like unsettled for sure. And we certainly were unsettled filming that at 1, 2, 3 a.m.
Cassie, again, is another part where she's very distrustful and very questioning of everything when everyone else is just kind of like eating it all up. And she has a monologue at the end, which was fun to learn because there's a lot of interesting diction and things that I had to like get nail on the head.
You're feeding us this crackpot story of a killer robot. Oh, and now you're claiming to be Bat Jr., the world's second greatest detective.
It was much like getting to the point of like, what's going on? Who are you? What are you doing? And of course, you know, having to actually do like a scene with my boyfriend where I'm like getting in his face and being like, what are you doing, without actually knowing it's him.
That's just gross. She has a boyfriend. Weirdo. I bet he's ugly too.
I guess that's all I have to say about that. Thanks.